My brilliant child, we are all destined to make mistakes. That is a phrase that will be repeated by even the most dim-witted. It is that evident. The only objective sign of a mistake is pain. The best kind of pain is that which happens right after the mistake, such as physical pain. However, this extraordinary instrument of nature is not foolproof. Just as there are ways of evading pain and tricking the body, there are ways of erring in life without perceiving the consequences. The same way that alcohol numbs the senses and makes them a bit more impervious to pain, our obsessions numb our judgment and cause us to repeat the same behaviors again and again without sensing any immediate consequences. Mourning detoxifies the alcoholic's body and makes him suffer the consequences of his excesses. The threat of obsession lies in the fact that its reflex arc can be as long as 20 years, or even longer than one's own life. This is why history is cyclical. It seems that when the time comes to collect the harvest, the sowers are no longer around, but rather their sons. They learn a little and take a few notes, but inevitably, without the immediate stimulus of a crisis, part of the lesson is always forgotten. Obsession keeps us mired in a behavior, whether because the moment of its consequences has not yet arrived, or because we are mitigating their pain by artificial means. To be obsessed is to no longer perceive the relation between cause and effect, even when it is still understood on a purely intellectual level. The smoker understands that his cough is a direct result of the cigarette, but even so, little can be done to make him stop smoking. Our ego smokes various types of cigarettes. We understand the consequences of our path, and even so, we stay on it. This is not stupidity, how many intelligent people smoke, but rather slavery. We serve various unconstrained layers within ourselves. We serve our gluttony, our lust, our egoism, and other loosely leashed beasts. Thus it appears that aging entails acquiring the skills of an animal trainer in order to break the will of all the creatures in our inner zoo. Good reasons are not enough. They are nothing but a written plan. As the tamer of your inner beasts, dear girl, you will learn that the best method of controlling them is neither provoking them nor trying to starve them to death. Especially in their early years, these creatures are extremely powerful, and you will have to negotiate with them. Surviving youth entails preventing them from taking over. They will be strong and ferocious, but will have to accept their role as pets. They must beautify and energize your life, not govern it. So you will discover then that obsession is their preferred instrument. The beasts obsess in order to procure their food. This is why trying to starve them to death is a poor strategy, because they will break free of their shackles and take control. That is what decadent religions preach, which is why they are overrun with lunatics. You will know that you are obsessed when you see yourself repeating the same behavior over and over, with no consideration for the risks. At times, obsessions take the form of healthy activities, like sports, or take more well-known and dangerous forms, like gambling, greed, or even love. This last guise is so effective that we do not even have two words to distinguish true love. That which is born of the de-differentiation of the self in the other, from that which consumes and feeds on the other. As both men and women, we are vulnerable to this egoistic love. which can easily pass for virtue. I can tell you, fair girl, that the years wear away the claws of the beasts, and some of them return submissively to their cages. But you cannot count on that. A sick obsession becomes embedded in the soul like a tumor, and establishes itself by becoming a habit. Habit is the triumph of obsession. When the illness progresses to that point, there is no longer any resistance. We are impulsively consumed by the malignant tissue. Just as in the physical analogy, when obsession reaches that point, there is no longer any form of negotiation that works, and the only solution is a resection. Whether we survive the procedure or not will depend on how many organs are involved. This is why it is so important to detect an obsession from its onset and eradicate it before it becomes a habit. Our intellect will be able to detect most of them, but there will be many that go unnoticed, contaminating us and our descendants in the form of tradition. This is when you will understand what a blessing death is, for both individuals and nations. Death sweeps away all of the cancerous ideas, giving us the opportunity to start over. My hat is off to our wise architect.